you could smell the sadness on the train this morning. So many big burly boys just clearly just hanging out, hanging out with their hangovers.
We
just looking sad, being muscly, sweaty old tracksuits, a bottle of Lucozade, making their way back to the train to get home. They come all the way down to London just to watch the big game. It was a pretty sad sight to see.
It's quite symbolic of drinking, I think, in general, because the build-up was so huge. You saw people kind of coming back from Tesco's with like huge bags of crisps and like beers, and everyone just looked so excited, like it was a massive party. And then this morning, everyone just looked so miserable and upset, and the flags are kind of like falling off the balconies, and it just, it just was such a big metaphor, because I made this bold decision to step out of my comfort zone and go with Horatio and be with his friends at a pub, but we had to arrive at 12 to secure seats. That's insane.
And that's just so not the kind of thing I would normally do, but I realised it would probably be like a very rare opportunity to see England in the final or something like that, and it would be a really fun atmosphere. And I was actually quite intoxicated by it because the vibes were so immaculate, and people were painted, and there were all these huge, like, fun groups of people, and it was just amazing to see, because it was like, wow, maybe this is this world that I'm not in, that I'm missing out on, or at least that it's fun to get a look at, because they're just so happy and they're all so together. But the second that we lost, it kind of just cast this different light on it, and it feels silly, because it's like, look at what we've sat here all day, And for what? But it was really fun, and I'm really, really glad that I did it. But it was just fascinating.
But it is also fascinating, the response on social media today, because everyone's been like, what a team. They've done us proud. Just you don't have to win. You don't have to win to show, to be encouraging for young children in the sports world, and not even for sports, just what model men. But the truth is, we fucking lost.
Yeah.
Just why has no one just been like, this is shit. This is really shit.
Yeah.
We lost. Really? Not
I mean,
on my feed. They're all very glowy and, what a remarkable performance.
Trying to sort of, translate it into something that isn't just like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing and humiliating.
Yeah, it is quite beautiful. I watched Friends.
So we recorded our last episode of the podcast when Love Island had only just had its one episode out. And so, it was not up to date with all of the new opinions that I'm sure we both have on what's going on in the villa. But let me tell you, things are cooking with gas. They are cooking with gas. So
I just love it. And I really thought after the first week I wasn't going to be a fan of this yet. And I thought maybe I'm just too intellectually above this now. I don't have time for this. I don't have time. I'm just going to read. But I'm really into it. Really. I even stayed up. I was watching it until like 3 a.m. last night. The baby woke up and I just thought, I'll watch Love Island.
In fact, tonight, because I didn't watch it yesterday, and I didn't watch the unseen bits on Saturday, which is a bit like the Big Brother Best one. Either. So I think I'm going to go triple bill tonight. I'm going to go Love Island unseen bits Saturday that I'm catching up on, Love Island Sunday that I'm catching up on, just in time for tonight's episode of Love Island, and I'm going to be so zonked out of my brain. It's like I'm going to be in ultimate enlightenment mode.
But I think that's what it's done for me this time round, because I really cannot stress enough how much a jump 2 to 3 kids has been. And that's only becoming more evident in the last few months because the baby's so much more active. But very rarely do I get to sit on the sofa and watch something and just have that blissful, just going into almost like a trance-like relaxation state. I very rarely get that each week. One of them is always waking up, or both kids are awake because Alfie's gigging. The baby starts crying after 5 minutes of me watching something. So when it does work and I'm watching something like Love Island, which is arguably quite mindless, and I'm able just to be mindless and watch them and enjoy that, I feel almost euphoric. It's just amazing.
I'm so glad that you get to experience that.
Yeah, it's not happened many times.
And me with my childless life, I still feel euphoric. Even though I don't have anything to be switching off from.
No, I'm not saying that's the only... I mean, obviously, there's no. It's only because I'm now appreciating it so much more, being able to watch TV. And it's honestly one of my favourite things ever. TV, sex, and life.
Love that.
3 top things.
Wait, TV, sex, and life?
Just life. TV, sex, life. That's the three best things, aren't they? I mean, living, not life.
You dumb. What? So life is one of the three things that's good about life. Life can't be one of the three things.
Just being here.
Oh, you mean being present?
Yeah.
Okay, so
you know,
adopting
like
a
that necklace I got for
mindset.
myself at Christmas, be here now. I've lost the necklace. It's really annoying.
Such a cringy necklace.
It is cringy,
as well.
but it's so important to be here now.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, that is actually adopting the principles of Stoicism very well.
And Buddhism,
that's what it's
maybe.
all about.
Is that Buddhism?
Buddhism. No, I don't know anything about Buddhism. So
I'm just going to pretend
know.
I'm Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But tell me, what are your thoughts on the contestants this year? Or at least, like, what are your thoughts on the
Hang on, why
contestants
don't we
this week?
choose who we think each other would like?
Out of the boys
Okay,
and the
out
girls?
of the boys. Okay, cool. So you choose who you think I would like out
Out of the boys. Okay, out of the boys, I think that you would like... Ooh!
But you haven't seen the new episode.
I haven't seen the new episode.
And
The
there's
new
a
guy
new
just
guy.
came in. What, are you saying that you like him?
Well, no, he's very beautiful. But he's not on my pick, so you go.
Okay, I'd say I mean, obviously your taste is very strange. So you might go for somebody weird like Aaron or something like that. Aaron who sucks.
Oh, is Aaron the one with...
Aaron, the one who basically
Sharon.
told Sharon that
Shannon.
he doesn't... No, Sharon.
Sharon.
Aaron and
Aaron,
Sharon. That would have been their couple name. Yeah, he basically just told her that he didn't like her anymore because she
Loud.
was too feisty.
Yeah.
Like, who stood up for herself, and he wants a woman that stays at home and looks after the kids. And, like, it was just a bit backward.
He likes
and
chill.
then, only because the new girls came in, and then the second that it was clear that they didn't like him, he's suddenly going back to Sharon. Okay. So you might like Aaron. He is very beautiful, but really, really boring. Or you might like maybe Brad. You might like
You
Brad.
like Brad, don't you?
No, Brad is an idiot.
Oh, but you fancy Brad.
Brad's obviously a beautiful man, but that's not really my type.
Okay, cool.
And his chat is too terrible.
I mean, yes, so bad. And really unattractive, actually, in his pursuit of the new one.
Lucinda,
Lucinda.
yeah.
That was really embarrassing
But
to watch.
so satisfying that even she was
Saw
turned
it.
off by him.
Thank God she did, because if she didn't, it would have been so unfair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who do I actually like? I don't fancy any of them,
No, nor do
apart
I.
from the new one coming in, but actually seeing more of his personality, I don't really fancy him either.
It's that type of, like, I don't know, it's just, none of the men seem particularly subtle. It's all so out on the surface, and it's all making, like, these kind of crude, lewd jokes. I just don't find that kind of, like,
No.
behaviour very attractive at all.
So at first, I really disliked Faye, because I thought that she was just a bit too crude and rude.
Yeah.
But now...
I just said crude, lewd, and you just said crude, rude.
Yeah. Oh, I just copied you. But now I really like her. She seems to really like herself.
Oh, yeah, Faye's backing herself for sure.
And because at first I thought, oh, it's her insecurity, and that's why she's been quite mean and kind of saying things in slightly kind of cold way. But now I think, actually, no, she really likes herself. She's here for a reason, and she's going to be funny and good on TV. And if she finds someone great, if she doesn't, she's going to probably get a spot on 8 out of 10 cats.
Oh, for sure. I think that she's definitely the one that has marketed herself the best. And she's become the mother hen. And I think if you look at it kind of in a slightly more critical way, you can tell it's because nobody fancies her right now. And so she's now adopted this new persona of like looking after people and being the one that like tells off Chloe for, you know, going behind Kaz's back. But I think that she's done it really well. And at first I thought you're too much, but actually I like her role now. I really actually have grown to love dumb little Liberty because she's just
great.
so sweet.
I cannot understand a word she's saying.
It's just everything that comes out of her mouth is just so funny.
I know, but it's kind of really awkward for me because every time she's on screen, Alfie kind of salivates at her boobs. Like
She does have perfect boobs.
Such a lovely body, just such a great
Such
body.
a gorgeous girl.
Unfortunately, what it has done for me, this series, because I'm stopping breastfeeding and so my boobs are kind of like in their shriveled state, it's really unattractive. I do have a complex because of Love Island.
It does
so
do
it
that.
is damaging, and I'm a confident person. And I've been given a complex from Love Island, so it shows how damaging it can be.
Well, I mean, I think every woman watching it, even if they can see that it's all completely unattainable or at least like very unrealistic beauty standards, it is still the norm amongst that group of people. So I guess it does make you feel a little bit strange. Like, even just the fact that they're also tanned. And I tried self-tan for the first time recently, and I couldn't even fucking do that right. So it's like, just to see this effortless kind of, especially the when they show like the sort of the rolling footage of the girls getting ready and the meticulous stages of it. And like, I can't do my eyeliner without having to redo it 3 times in one session. So just to see them nailing it, and they're all like 21, it does kind of make you feel a little bit
Did you see the episode near the beginning where the guys had to guess what surgery they'd had?
Was that
near the beginning? Yeah, there was like
that challenge.
It was a challenge, and so they just had to put right on their boards, tits, lips, Botox, boobs, most of them had all 3 of them.
And that was just quite shocking as
well.
well.
But I've been thinking more about fear, because I think I'm held back a lot of choosing to do things because of fear that I'll become a different version of myself, and this is the version of myself, and I can't stray from that. And all of the things that I would like to do if I wasn't scared usually involves something to do with my appearance, but
Really?
I'm too scared to do it. And that's why I've had the same long hair for years, and that's why I've had basically worn the same clothes for 10 years. And so I have this kind of respect for women like the most of them, well, all of them, I think, on Love Island, who have had numerous procedures just for cosmetic reasons and aren't scared of being the one in a million that gets the bad reaction or gets the botched boob or
has like horrible people online comparing what they look like before the procedures to them after.
They don't care about that.
It's so bold in a way, and I think that when that fight occurred where Hugo, who repulses me, and the fact that people like him on Twitter.
No, but he's like the loser in there.
Yeah, well, I think deservingly so.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me some very tasty gossip about him.
You can't disclose.
But I won't disclose it. But anyway, I don't think that he comes across as a very nice guy, and I think it's pretty clear that he is sort of Machiavellian in the villa. I don't like him. But anyway, when he made the comments about not liking fake women so overtly,
but he didn't mean to. He just kept. It's like
he was just being dumb about it.
He was just being dumb. His vocab isn't varied enough, so he just seemed like he just kept coming back to that word fake. Like when I keep coming back to the word amazing.
Yeah,
and I sound like an idiot, but it's just because.
And the producers probably cut it to make it look more. But I thought it raised a really interesting argument, which I don't think they've done before in Love Island, about you don't know why somebody's got plastic surgery or why they've had procedures done. You don't know what it takes to be a woman with people looking at you and judging you.
That's such a great turn, because 5 years ago people wouldn't be
completely
that explicit.
And like in the Heat magazine era of things, in the sort of early noughties, or like more recently, probably even up to like sort of 2015, like before the Me Too movement, I feel like you could really bash trashy women. Like that was a sort of funny thing for us to do as a society. And wags, and you could just like talk about how sort of slutty people are in a much more open, callous way. But I think that you just don't do that anymore.
No.
Or at least you just think about the impact that has, and you see these people more as people who might have had their lips done or their boobs done, but there could probably be a bit emotional reason behind that.
Yeah.
And you're saying that you feel like inferior, so.
Yeah, I definitely feel inferior. But just picking up on that, apparently the winner from last series, Molly May, apparently she wants to undo all of her work.
Really?
Yeah, and go back to being natural, which is, I don't think you can undo.
You have to have your fillers dissolved and stuff.
Yeah,
and I think it takes a long time, because basically fillers, I've seen a lot of this on TikTok, people saying, don't do it. It looks great at first, but then you have to keep getting it done, and it slowly migrates from your lip up to sort of beneath your nose, this sort of ridge, which is why they start to get that sort of trout pout thing.
Oh, really?
And it can go into different parts of your face. It could be dangerous. I mean, especially if you've got to undo your eyes and stuff like that. So I have friends that have done that. I definitely don't think I would ever get fillers, but Botox, for sure, I would consider. If I got to a point where I decided that it would be something that would make me feel better about myself, I don't think that any judgment is necessary for people that decide to do that.
No, it's just fear that holds me back from doing anything like that. I mean, also regret. I don't want to regret anything.
Exactly.
I don't want to regret cutting my hair in a bob and then my hair never growing again.
But your hair wouldn't stop growing.
It might. Some people say their hair stops growing.
I think that your hair has like a length that it can grow to, and you've obviously shown yours to be pretty long.
Yeah, but that's only because I've grown it for, forever.
It would take you another 10 years for sure to grow it to be that long again.
I think I'm just going to be one of these really creepy old women with just really, really long hair.
Yeah, but I've always really admired them, because then they can do a sort of like fancy little swishy bun with like one of those big old clips.
Yeah. Anyway, I do want a boob job. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I want a boob job. And now I've kind of given myself this kind of goal of, okay, if I can take away the fear and, you know, do loads of research so I'm clued up about the right people, in 5 years' time I'm gonna have a boob job.
Really? Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah,
I mean, good for you.
Job, yeah. Not big.
No.
Just like, you know, purr and like round.
And juicy.
Just like, you know, round. And I think unless you've gone through the years of breastfeeding and seen and pumping, breast pumping just affects your boobs so much. And you don't think about that when you're feeding the baby and you're so hormonal and it's so satisfying to feed the baby. But it is absolutely changing your boobs forever. And it's just something that I don't think I thought about. I remember when I was pregnant with Donnie and I suddenly was like, oh no, is my body going to suddenly change and these boobs will never be the same boobs again. And it was true. They weren't. They're different. They evolve into a different woman's boobs, and then you become that different woman as you become a mother. Yeah. So boob job, here we come.
So once you decided, okay, cool, no more babies.
Yeah. No more boob.
No more breastfeeding.
Yeah. Apparently you can breastfeed with fake boobs, but I don't want to. You know, it's just a bit. Yeah. I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait until I've definitely don't want to breastfeed anymore.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to get Botox too.
Yeah.
When I'm 30.
We do it together. Yeah. You can get a boob job too. We can have matching boob jobs.
I don't think I need a boob job.
No, you don't need a boob job until you start breastfeeding though. Then you will.
Yeah. I posted a photo of me in a sort of very skimpy top on Instagram for the first time, and I got a lot of likes.
I told you it would. Get those likes in.
Honestly, just get the girls out because everybody wants to say hello and we all have a good time.
But I think a lot of the time it's people being like, yeah, she's being brave.
Exactly.
She's like showing us her boobs, like she's not scared. It's not like, oh, you're sexy.
Yeah.
They're just being like, yeah, go girl.
Exactly. It's mostly girls being like, oh great, my God, good for you.
Yeah.
And especially since I was holding a cake and then I obviously compared the photo to like Lana Del Rey, it made it funny. It wasn't like an overt picture of me just like posing. But then again, that wouldn't be a bad thing either.
No, exactly. Well, this comes on to the topic I want to talk about of book promotion because it's now been out for say...
You want to get your tits out to promote your book.
I'm going to get my boobs out, you know? The boob job is going to be just a cover of the book. Inside the skin, you can still see the... No. So I think the book's been out for 3 weeks now. Yeah, 3 weeks.
You go, girl.
3 weeks?
Miss Chart Top of you.
No, hang on.
Selling those books.
24th. Yeah, they're 3 weeks. Yeah. So it has done very well, which is great. But I am now paranoid, and I think it's only done well because of my Instagram stories.
Okay, yeah.
So now I'm panicked. Like,
the second you stop.
How do I keep up the book doing well if I don't do my cute little Instagram stories? Because basically what I'm doing is whenever somebody is showing me they're reading the book, and I'm sorry if this has annoyed you and you followed me for a while and now you're just kind of seeing constant book stuff. But I think if somebody's taken the time to show me them reading the book and enjoying the book and maybe even writing something nice about the book, I can't just let that slide. And also an Instagram story only lasts for so I just grab it and I repost it.
I don't think anyone is judging you for that at all.
Okay,
it's a lovely thing to see.
Okay, cool.
And it is very good promotion. I mean, I know you're my sister. You know, I have a copy of the book, multiple. But every time I see your Instagram and I see this, there's a little part of my brain associated with like the consumer part of it that goes, ding, oh my God, I want to buy that. Because it actually does work. It really, and I think it's a positive display of you like embracing the people that are connecting with the book, and it's you not being weird and detached.
Well, no, but so this is what has happened. So basically, just this is a bit boring, but it went in straight into the Sunday Times bestseller at number 10, okay? And I found this information out on the Wednesday because apparently all the data takes time to whatever. So within 5 days, it was on the bestseller list, which is great. So this was on a Wednesday, okay?
Yeah.
And I had press to do for that week. I couldn't tell anyone it was on the list yet.
Yeah.
So I was quite excited, obviously, and that surpassed my expectation. But for the rest of the week, I was like doing like little bits of reading stuff, knowing that, and I wanted to be like, it's also a bestseller, but I obviously couldn't say anything. Anyway, Saturday comes round, and I just get a photo of it being number 1 on the Times bestseller. And I suddenly, obviously, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That was like, I didn't understand that they're very different lists. So I'd gone from number 10 in my head to number 1. And I felt like
Dream
I
queen.
just was like, okay, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So when Sunday comes around and it's in number 10, and then Sunday Times, you can see how many, I probably shouldn't be this open about things, but
It's nice to be.
fuck
It's nice
it,
to be.
fuck it, you know? I'm a desperate artist. I'm a desperate artist. You can see how many people have sold in 1 week on the Sunday Times bestseller. So the reason I was number 1 on the Times was because that was taken into our pre-sale. Thank you very much for buying it on pre-sale, which obviously worked. And then that week, how many I'd sold. So I'd won that week at that moment on that Saturday. But in terms of accumulative, how many I sold in a week, I don't really understand. But basically, I'm now scared that I'm going to go off these lists.
I understand.
And I don't, that's not a big deal. But I didn't even expect to be on the list. So
But
now
once
it's
you were
kind of,
told that you were, you
Yeah.
suddenly have a different kind of set of expectations for
so
yourself.
now I feel like I've failed because I'm number 4.
And then you see the actual number, and it's probably, how do you even quantify something like that? But seeing the actual number must have felt strange too.
So strange seeing how many people have bought the book that week, and then looking at like past weeks, because obviously I'm going to scroll back and see women who I like who've written books, and then maybe they've Instagrammed a photo of their Sunday Times bestseller, and maybe theirs is a lot higher than mine.
Like they've sold like 20 times as many.
A shitload more books
Of
in the
course,
same chart.
That would be weird for anyone. Anyone.
So it just puts things into perspective.
It's
And
just a
it's quite
different
scary.
world that you're
But I'm
entering.
not going to be one of those people who writes something. It's been 2 years of my life, basically. I'm not going to then just let it go out into the world and not be like, come back and see me. Come, I'll just bye. Don't ever call me again.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
your
look
baby.
after it.
It's your baby, and you're going to look after it.
So I'm going to make sure it's sailing well.
Like a chimpanzee or an orangutan, I can't remember which one it is. They look after their baby for years and years and years. And then when the baby's finally big enough to go out on its own, the baby still comes back and visits its mum.
Exactly.
They still hang out.
Yeah.
You're just checking in on your little baby
Yeah,
monkey.
I'm checking the baby monkey's okay.
Exactly.
And I'm also checking that other people can find the baby monkey.
You
They
put
want to
all
hold the baby
work
monkey
in.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if they're annoying, but for me, for this part of my career and stage of life, I feel like I need to do as much as I can to kind of honor the work that I did. And then after the summer, I'll be like, okay, I'll let the baby monkey run free.
Exactly. And I think it's kind of weird if an author were to write a book and then not say anything about it, because that's either a symbol of arrogance, where it's like, well, people will find it because it's my work and I put it out there, or insecurity because they don't want to make a big show of it. And it's like they think that somebody will just happen to find that they did a book and be like, oh my God, I didn't know that you wrote this. And then they'll have a conversation like, oh, well, yeah, no, I write books too. And that's not how the marketplace as it stands works. You have to be somebody that has 5 different jobs. We're all competing against each other. And I don't think that you should feel any shame in promoting yourself.
No.
In the way that girls on Love Island shouldn't feel shame at promoting the work that they've had done to become this kind of consumer product. Let's just stop shaming people for putting themselves out there, because that's how the world works. Not
Also,
everybody just gets lucky.
Also, yes, I do have, an agent, and I have a place in this industry, but I have largely done a lot of the work myself.
You really have.
Including my own promotion for things. And how great, if you think about it, that it's managed to do this well, given that it's, I'm pretty sure that Instagram stories have helped.
Of course
and that's
they have.
ridiculous. But it's quite, hopefully it encourages other people to be like, okay, if you create something that you're proud of, you can put it out there. You can spread the word yourself. You don't need these big houses and these big spreads in magazines. And, fair enough, I've had a couple of them, and that's very good. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure it's down to my, my Instagram emojis.
Well, also, to be honest, it makes you seem like more of a real person, and it makes the book seem like something I would be more appealed to go and pick up. Because when you walk into Waterstones or any kind of bookshop, it's just so overwhelming to the senses how many books there are and how many interesting, appealing covers they have. And I feel like, especially in the sort of women's fiction category now, there's a really strong aesthetic. It's that sort of bright colour, then a line drawing type thing. It can be really confusing because they all look like they could be good. So if I know that somebody on Instagram has made their book seem like it's a real person writing something that I can connect to emotionally, I'm going to be much more likely to pick it up. So I think that your promotion has definitely worked.
I feel guilty now because I did have a publicity team helping me as well. So I do feel bad, and they were amazing. So like I've definitely had lots of help, but it's now the end of that kind of time. And now it's time to like do it, you know, to decide, okay, do I keep kind of shouting about the fact that I've written a book, or do I do other things? Like I feel really, I just can't post a doodle, for instance. Like I keep trying to do them and I keep trying to post them. And yeah, some of them have actually been quite funny, but I feel like I just can't post it right now because it would look weird.
Because you're in a different mode in your head. You don't have to switch that off. You need to fully like process this moment. It's like the boys at the football yesterday when we lost. Like I saw grown men who'd been like tearing the place up before, sitting with their heads in their hands, like. And then I asked Horatio why, and he said it's because you need to just grieve it fully for those 20 minutes, so that then you can process it and move on. And I'm not saying that you have anything to grieve here in this situation, but fully process this moment that you're in of the book being out. It's not going to last forever, and you'll look back and you'll be like, I should have just appreciated that more. So just sit in it, and you don't need to do anything else. You know?
Think I it was a step too far though last night, because Donnie was like, Mommy, can I take a book into school for my teacher? And I was like, no, of course, no, that's silly. Did she ask for a book? Did she ask for a kind of. Did she know who I am? Does she want a book? Did you tell her my name? Does she know anything? Because I was like trying to gather of like, who is this woman? Like, you know, is she my fan? Is she my target audience? Like, how does she hear about the book? Or is it a case of Johnny being like, my mummy wrote a book, and the teacher's been like, oh great, whatever. So I put the book in his bag this morning.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Because I've got these paperbacks and hardbacks at home. I was like, does she want a paperback or does she want a hardback? Shall I sign up for her? What's her name?
You really, I mean, like, at least you put in the work. You don't need to work that hard.
I know that he's going to bring the book home today, and that would be like, I'll feel if the book is in his bag when he gets home
you're
from school.
You're going to feel like a loser.
Yeah, such a loser.
Because
like,
he might have even offered it up to her, and she'll be like, doesn't really look like my kind of thing.
It. Yeah, you keep it.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You don't need to sell to every single individual person.
No.
You've done a lot of audience interaction, and I think that you've been really, really successful in that approach. And I even think that the podcast, again, is like part of that.
People really believe in us, which is so nice.
Yeah, girl came up to me yesterday at the football saying that she was a fan of the podcast. Aww. I mean, it's just so nice. And I guess because we like come across as ourselves and everything like that, that's why people would be more likely to come up and say something about it. And I think that again, it just goes so hand in hand with your book promotion. It feels like you're a real person that is, especially given the subject matter, poured yourself into the book. So you have nothing to be afraid of. You can promote the shit out of it if you want.
So that's why I just posted a photo of me and W.H. Smith looking quite geeky. It was next to Barack Obama.
I mean, natural companion.
And like it was in the middle of some really depressing books, which I was quite happy about.
And I think the cover is so kind of lovely and bright and cheery looking that it's just such a nice sort of juxtaposition that is up there.
Yeah, 2 rows below Joe Wicks. He's written another cookbook, hasn't he?
I have one of his cookbooks, 30 minute or like 5-day plan or something like that.
Have you ever seen his Instagram videos of him cooking?
No.
It's just so funny. Because, okay, people, do you believe in cooking? Do you know what I mean by that question?
No.
So I don't believe in cooking. This is gonna get a lot of hate, but I don't believe it's a skill.
You don't believe it's a skill? Oh, that's a really interesting idea.
I don't believe. Okay, so when Alfie cooks, when I cook my dinner, which is basically vegetables and beans, like I'm a vegan, it's boring. I just, vegetables, water, stock cube, oil, vegetables, beans, fry, done. Alfie makes the same meal, but he cooks it with, garlic and spices and like loads of spices mixed together that he weighs out, and then he blends them up
and like marinates
it, and I don't believe that's just the same thing as what I did. You're just making it fancy.
But which one tastes better?
They both taste fine. His tastes better, but it's not cooking because it's not like he's created the vegetables and he's created the things.
You're an idiot. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, and I think...
You know what I mean? It's just the ingredients.
He's
gardening. He's not fucking cooking.
I see what you're saying. I see you're saying that, like, when you use really minimal ingredients, like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of skill there.
Yeah.
I feel like cooking is when you're like chopping onions really finely and sautéing, and you're like putting things together.
Sautéing.
I genuinely didn't believe in cooking. I was the same as you. I think it's just the way that we've been raised, or just like it's something to do with us and our family. I was very much like a Carrie Bradshaw who uses her oven as storage.
Yeah.
Direct line from the show. So funny, I've got Horatio into watching Sex and the City, but now it's like got to that point where he doesn't really care. So I just put Sex and the City on, I'll be like, look, this is where she meets Aiden. You have to watch this bit. And then I realise, oh wait, I'm just watching Sex and the City again for the 6th time. Horatio does not give a shit about any of these characters, nor does he know what's going on, because I keep watching it without him. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway,
Aiden was such a mistake.
Aiden was such a
You
mistake.
made a mistake, Carrie.
You made a huge fucking mistake. Aiden was the best possible option for you. Mr. Big is boring.
No,
Anyway,
he wasn't boring. Aiden wasn't boring.
Mr. Big was boring.
Mr. Big wasn't boring. Mr. Big was sexy.
He was sexy, but it's a bit creepy. It's a bit creepy to just show up in your car all the time.
Oh no, I love
Car with a driver. Just be like, hey kid. Like, it's just a bit, I'm sorry, he lacks something to me. Mr. Big is like big man who like is rich and works in an office and like listens to old Frank Sinatra records. That's not enough of a character. Aiden felt like a real man to me. But anyway, I was a Carrie Bradshaw before, used my oven as storage, until, you know, I realized once I started going out with Horatio for a while, like he liked cooking for me and stuff like that. It became really fun cooking together.
No, don't get me wrong. He cooks, and I'm the one who just puts the ingredients in. Well, the vegetables, the beans, and the stock cube in. Done. But
Done.
no, but it's not the same as I don't really believe that it's that much
worth it.
skill. Cooks who are restaurants and stuff where they're, you know,
Cooks who are restaurants.
cooks at restaurants, they do different stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, but still, a lot
Home
of the
cooking.
time, I'm like, that's just frying it and putting some spice on it. That's not cooking.
I guess it's that, yeah, you're being cynical because you're like, is it worth the effort and is it that difficult to begin with? I do get that. But I think that cooking has to just be about enjoying the process. Cooking, I get what you mean, is cooking a real thing? But I think actually cooking isn't just chopping the vegetables and putting them in a thing, because you're right, that doesn't take that much skill.
No.
Cooking is the process of deciding which things to put together, like playing some music and like dancing around in your kitchen, and then enjoying the finished thing that you've made in a way that you like enjoy an art piece that you put time
Yeah,
into.
true.
It's more of a feeling. I think cooking is more of a feeling.
Yeah, and he really loves it. And now that we moved into a small flat with no kitchen, it's been evident how he really misses the kitchen. So I do feel bad. And because he's so good at doing my dinner, but the cooking version, the better version. On Monday or whenever it was, he cooked. He never makes a mistake usually, but this particular meal was disgusting.
Really?
It was
What did
really
he do?
disgusting. And I knew it would be just by looking at it. and I know that if I don't say within the first bite, oh my God, this is so good. Thank you so much. I love it. If I don't say that within the first couple of bites, I see him looking over, waiting for me to say.
Oh no, I can't.
I know. So I had to just pretend, this is different. But it's really good. It's really good. And he could tell.
Oh, was he hurt?
No, but I feel bad that I've taken for granted the cooking element of a relationship by moving into a really small flat with no kitchen and no space to cook, because he really likes that and misses that. I think he mainly liked it because he could shut the door and listen to a podcast quite loudly for quite a long time and be away from us. So he can't do that anymore. So maybe I don't feel bad, but yeah.
I think he more likes the intimacy of making something that's going to fuel you. You know?
He really likes cooking for me in a really feeder way.
It's oh my God, Horatio's such a feeder too.
Such a feeder.
Such a feeder.
But what's so funny about that though is that I say, oh, you're just a feeder, but then I will finish more than he eats.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have my stomach is so big.
Well, I'm sure we've discussed this before, but for the first year that we were going out, he thought that I had a small appetite. And it was really funny to me that he'd be like, oh, you're probably not going to be able to finish this. And I'd be like, yeah, I probably won't. And then I would just want to eat fucking twice as much.
You thought I thought that for longer than I did. I probably thought that for a short bit. You probably think I was like, no, I don't think you was
He said you were just like...
Oh, you probably still think I have a really small appetite. No, not at all.
As I'm finishing off 3 or 4 pieces of bread before I've eaten the main part of the meal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't help myself. And he has a little sweets drawer and everything like that.
No.
I got really into
sweets
sweets before bedtime.
Sweets before bedtime. That's like, you can't do that, BB. That's not okay. Come on. What about your teeth?
I know, but
brush your teeth?
yeah, of course. Like, but then you brush your teeth.
Okay,
But I'm
cool.
just saying, like a little sweet at night time, and it's so nice because I used to never eat sweets, but when I did, I would go wild and eat so many of them
Yeah.
that I would make myself sick. It's nice to be in a place in my life where, like a couple times a week, you can just have a couple of sweets and you don't ruin your whole
Yeah,
night. You don't
yeah.
wake up feeling sick the next morning.
Yeah.
And it's because I've probably got a witness there, and had he not been there, I would be eating the
Yeah,
whole pack of
exactly.
Mowams by myself. But I think that cooking and like having treats and stuff with the person that you're in a relationship with is such an
bonding.
important and bonding experience.
Totally.
Even when you both go overboard and eat a bit too much and you're both feeling sick, like even that is so intimate that I think it's the feeling. I think
Yeah.
it's worth it, even if you think
Oh,
it's kind of
totally.
stupid.
I don't think I would have been able to stay in the relationship this long if I'd stuck to my kind of really Spartan
Yeah.
actress diet.
God, yeah, you
He
have
would
to compromise.
it's cold. He would have, it's just not fair on him.
Exactly.
So yeah, I definitely have loosened up. And also more so lately with thinking about life and death and, you know, how short life is. Is it really such a big deal to be half a stone heavier? Is it really such a big deal?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it is such a big deal if you're an actress, and we have established that many times. And unfortunately, that was in the book press that I did. I did an interview with The Independent, like a really nice long piece. But in one of the topics, we talked about the Friends reunion, and I said about how I used to put earrings down my top and go to school so I could have nipples like Jennifer Aniston. It's a real thing I did, and I don't regret putting that on social media, you know? Anyway, I did also say that the fact that Jennifer and Monica, Phoebe, interestingly, always looked her thinnest.
Yeah.
She should be bigger.
Of
Her
course.
body looked like she should have been bigger. Monica and Rachel, they looked like they were small women to
Yeah,
begin with,
yeah.
who had got even
thinner.
smaller.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I said, you know, that it's just weird that they had big boobs and this tiny body, and that's what I was grown up to believe, that this was this thing. And then she asked about Harry Potter and weight and stuff, and I joked I gained a lot of weight going back for the Deathly Hallows, and I was treated like an alien. So the whole interview is about the book, Sunset. I've written a novel, nothing to do with Harry Potter, but obviously the thing that gets picked up is I felt like an alien doing Harry Potter.
Oh God,
Because I was fat.
So
And then it
annoying.
links to a photo of me now to me
No. They didn't
in my
do that.
full glory Harry Potter premiere, you know,
Green
polka dot
shiny
dress.
leggings.
Yeah, green shiny leggings, like being, you know, a bigger version of myself, but like in
Standing
like,
next to Emma Watson and Bonnie Wright and stuff,
Yeah.
but looking not like how actresses are supposed to look on the red
in American
carpet.
Apparel, green leggings
Yeah.
and Converse, and looking, they almost were disgusted by me just standing by me. I think, no, actually that's mean. That can get picked up. That, I don't mean that. What I mean is everyone was slightly uncomfortable, I think, because I was,
Because you weren't conforming to what
Yeah.
most people do in that situation, and it wasn't partly not your choice, but also partly because you had the strength of character to not.
I'd eaten a lot of soy, which we've established in episode 1. So if you want the evidence,
The
look at those-
long-term trauma is still there. It's still
Do you know
there.
what I love on any photo I do ever? Every so often there will be somebody who's just commenting like, I hate soy too. And I just be like, you've stuck with me.
Solidarity, sister.
You've listened to the podcast. You know what I'm talking about. You've probably read my book. You know I hate soy.
But I think that you're right. Yeah, it's really refreshing and strange to think, would it really wow, like if I was a half a stone bigger or 2 stone bigger or anything like that, or even just like any other kind of change in the way that you look, or making less effort with certain things that you only do to kind of cater to a beauty standard or whatever, how much would that actually impact my life? And it probably wouldn't impact your life so much. It's about how you view yourself and the insecurity it brings,
Exactly.
and the questioning. And that's what I hate, because it's like, I would love to switch off that part of my brain, because life would be so much easier. But unfortunately, I guess it's just in the place that we're in, you're always going to be plagued with those questions, and you just have to decide what's worth it right now.
Yeah. Sometimes the sweet's worth it. Sometimes soy yogurt is worth it.
Yeah.
I caved into my soy addiction.
Did you have some soy yogurt recently?
No. I occasionally have.
That
No,
soy
I stay,
milk, the chocolate milk is pretty good.
No, that's gross. I stay away from soy mostly. If I ever can't find a good coffee shop and I have to go to Pret, I can't, because since Alfie told me the most scary statistic he's ever told me in my life.
What, 30 grams of sugar in a
31
coconut
grams
latte?
of sugar in a coconut latte. Still gives me shivers at the moment he told me that fact. At this point, I was sometimes having 2 of them a day.
Oh yeah, my God, I remember we were in a real coconut latte phase,
62 grams of sugar from a coconut latte.
Feeling so healthy. Ooh.
He told me that, and I almost threw up.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so now I only have a soy flat white if I go into prep. And I feel like I'm doing something really dirty.
Yeah, that's how fucked up you are, really. That you think of a soy latte as being so bad.
No, because I've been so open about my, like, you know,
Your
how people
hatred,
shouldn't
yeah.
drink soy.
Well, you're scared that somebody's gonna like pap you.
No,
she's a
someone's
liar.
Someone's gonna pat me. No, somebody's like, am I gonna get sucked into soy again? Is my love for soy gonna come back?
Yeah.
Is this one soy flat white gonna lead to a lot more? You know? Also, just thinking about Spotted and stuff. I mean, like Pat. Just thinking about Heat magazine too. Do you remember? Do you think they still do? I want to open
Spotted
up
page.
Spotted page.
That was my favourite fucking page. James McAvoy spotted walking down a street in Soho carrying a croissant and a coffee.
The most basic things. But I don't think that could exist now. It probably does. But it almost is pointless now because we're so present now online.
Yeah.
There is no need to spot celebrities. We can see what they're doing in their kitchen all the time. They're on TikTok.
Exactly. It's less special because you do get an insight into what a celebrity's daily life looks like on their Instagram. In fact, they're willingly asking you to participate because that's how people get roles and stuff now. Whereas before, there was so much more anonymity.
She's
to
having a secret
celebrity
pan au chocolat.
Also, I always found really funny with that page that some people came off so much better. They really did some people dirty. It was like they saw like an ex-member of the Sugar Babes in Poundland. They would be fucking brutal. Like they would try and like paint people as like really like fucking scraping the barrel. But then some people like, oh, Kate Moss spotted walking out of Soho House. They would like obviously make her seem really chic. I mean,
But
maybe Kate Moss is always walking out of Soho House, but I don't know.
wonder if some of them are lies, because if they just said, say, I don't know, who's a celebrity? I can't think of a celebrity's name.
Anton Deck.
Okay, I'm trying to think of a female. Michelle Heaton.
Okay. Mylene Klass was so big.
Cool.
Mylene
Klass coming out of Tesco Metro.
Yeah.
They can't be like, well, did you go to Tesco Metro this week, Mylene?
She probably had been at some
You
point.
probably had
If
been,
you live
so
in
we
London.
can write that down in the Spotted page.
Exactly. I reckon if you really, really hated someone, you could just text Heat magazine constantly, like weird updates. You get like let's say that you hated, say,
Lee from Steps.
Lee from Steps. You could be like, Lee from Steps spotted coming out of a weird fucking sex shop, fucking creep. You could just do that all the time. Oh my God, Horatio showed me this photo really early at the beginning of our relationship, and it's so funny. It's a picture of oh God, is it the kid from Spy Kids growing up? And Meghan Trainor coming out of a sex shop holding boy. They're together as a couple. 2 shopping bags filled to the brim with dildos. And they're both wearing tracksuits, sunglasses, trying not to. It's the most unbelievably funny photo. Oh my God.
Megan Fox?
No, Meghan Trainor. She sang that song all about that bass, bass, no treble.
Maybe she was having a party or something. They weren't just for her.
Maybe goodie bags.
Oh my God. Talking of goodie bags, I did my first goodie bags for Margot.
We had a big old birthday party, didn't we?
I did feel bad. I feel...
God, you were so nervous about nobody coming. It was like, Jessie, it's not your party.
Yeah, but it's Margot's party, which is basically my party. Because I'm the mother. I'm the star.
Also, I love that Margot said that she wanted to be a joint birthday party, but just slowly and assuredly just pushed me off the billing. Like, eventually, I was just doing face paint. I was working at the party, and another parent came up to me and said, "Would I be willing to do another kid's birthday party next weekend as a face painter?" So I found my new job. We found it.
They really do think you're doing the face paint.
Yeah, I don't know how to get across a message apart from not responding to this WhatsApp group I've been added to about this.
You've been added to our WhatsApp group?
No, I've been added to this kids' party WhatsApp group.
I haven't been added to that.
Well, clearly you're not invited. I am. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Of course you're not doing it. But you could charge a lot of money.
How much can you charge
You
for
could
face
probably
painting?
charge, for an hour of face painting, you could probably charge 100 quid.
Really? That
Yeah.
seems a bit steep.
Steep?
Yeah.
No, you could charge more. You could probably charge 150.
That is absurd.
No, you seriously could.
It's
this
embarrassing,
children's
no way.
entertainer that they had, that another family had last weekend, they hired a Cinderella impersonator, and she was just on the phone near the square where the party was, and I saw, I didn't know that they were having I thought I was hallucinating seeing Cinderella on the phone, and she suddenly starts walking towards me, and then I realised she's coming to do a party thing. Slightly weird. Anyway, I reckon she got paid like 500.
With that, yeah. I mean, because you're doing
But all
the
she
whole
did was say,
bit.
"Hello, children. I'm Cinderella. Who's the birthday girl?" And then they have like a little bit of, ad lib with the birthday girl. And then she, resumes her position of being the party entertainer, and she just has an iPad and she's like, "Musical statues."
I see. So you're basically just, you're just like, you're dressed up kids entertainer.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Would I be a kids entertainer? Fuck you. No, of course I would. I would
You
love
tried.
it.
You tried to be a kids presenter. That was
I
your,
would
that
love
was your
to,
main goal in life.
I would love to do kids entertainment. Never got picked because I do, comedy shows about, talking about rape and stuff. Don't get picked. Don't get picked onto that. To see BB's bedtime story.
Also, it's so funny when you were trying. Another mum at the party came up and was like talking
Sorry,
to us.
we just have to say comedy shows mentioning my rape, not about rape.
Not about rape.
Okay.
Not as a subject.
Just to be clear. And CBBS, rightfully, they are allowed to not book me. That's fine.
But bedtime
I would be a
stories
great.
she'd be a great
I
asset.
would be so good with a bedtime story. I've already picked 5 books that would be my books.
Yeah, but the thing is, what was so funny is when this mum came up to us at the party and was like, "Oh, so Jessie said that you did the audiobook for her book," and I was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "Oh, would you want to do that again?" And then you were like, "Have you heard of the Fairy Tale Hairdresser? I just did those books." I was like, "Jessie, why are you trying to impress this mum? Why are you trying to impress her? You're trying to take a gig away from me, a conversation topic where I'm talking about my audiobook career, and you're like, have you heard of the Fairy Tale Hairdresser?"
It was because I was feeling really awkward.
I know.
And I was trying to fill time, and I didn't know what else to say. So I thought, oh, she might know the Fairy Tale Hairdresser books. I know that I did the voice. So I thought, oh, no, she won't know. No one knows that. So I thought, it was literally me being awkward socially. It wasn't me trying to take your thunder.
No. I don't mind at all. It's not like they're not my peers.
Do you not know the books? It's about Kitty Lacey, the best hairdresser in all the land.
But it was just so funny because it's like adolescent fear when you're amongst your peers and you're like at a house party, but it's a mature version of that, being intimidated by other parents. It's so motherland. It was crazy, not knowing if other parents are going to come, not knowing, like, we bought so much alcohol
that didn't really get drunk, but I bought honestly about £40 worth of crisps. All gone.
I didn't get a single crisp.
I didn't get a single crisp.
I didn't get a single crisp.
The ready mix, the ready salted M&S mixture. They're my favourite crisp. I was hoping.
Oh, the ones with the little wheels. They got the little pinwheels.
The pinwheels.
Oh, and they got the little sticks.
The sticks.
They got a hula hoop. They got
And
a little
they got
wavy one.
like a
a
square.
ridge.
A square.
A ridge square. Nothing better than a ridge square, in my opinion.
Do you remember squares?
Oh my god, squares are great.
Salt and vinegar squares.
Have you had the newest? I'm obsessed. Double Crunch. What is it, Horatio? Is it Walker's or is it McCoy's? There is a new type of crisp. Double oven baked, double crunch, and double the bloody flavour. Okay, KFC zinger. KFC Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, they've even got a double crunch cheese and onion. Let me tell you, that's the showstopper, really, in my opinion.
No.
That is the big old ridges, full of flavour, absolutely incredible. Couldn't recommend it more. The cheese and onion ones. Mwah.
Anyway, there's
Beautiful.
no crisp left at the party.
That was a real shame that there were no crisps. I didn't even get to try a bit of my own cake. The kids
the
literally
cake was
rampaged
gone. She made the
through
biggest
that.
cake she's ever made.
Yeah, and I made it with my Barbie doll that I had when I was 10 years old. And it was just my favourite because you twist her torso and her skirt changes. And I was so excited. And I washed her hair. I washed a Barbie doll's hair. That was my... I spent time doing that, combing through it with conditioner and stuff. That felt very, very strange. Putting it in the cake, doing all this kind of stuff. And then for Margot to look at it, take off her top and be like, ha, and then just throw it on the ground. And then her skirt mechanism was broken.
Yeah.
I guess kids maybe just don't find Barbie dolls exciting in the same way.
No, they did. They loved it. They gravitated. I mean, it was all gone.
It was literally all gone. The whole cake was gone. But I hope it was tasty.
It was delicious. I was slightly embarrassed at my daughter's confidence, though, because when
She
we
was
had to sing
bold.
Happy Birthday, she sang very loudly, and for some reason she was very much on her own, so everyone was looking at her.
Yeah.
And I thought, she's gonna need a hug from me. She's gonna be shy. She just sang Happy Birthday to herself.
It was so funny.
I've got a video of it. It's kind of staggering.
But she's so confident it's going to do her so well.
She's a confident girl.
Hopefully nobody takes that confidence away from her. Like, why is it a bad thing for a young girl to be confident? You know, if it was a boy, we would be like, that's amazing.
No, definitely.
She doesn't
but
have to be sweet
I felt
and
like I
mild.
couldn't be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. I had to kind of show that I was embarrassed because I don't want to look like I'm... I don't know. It's a weird thing. Actually.
You don't want to be seen to like be making your child arrogant.
No.
So you of course have to sort of be like, no, don't be too much. But at the same time, it's a great thing.
Yeah,
you know?
she didn't.
She's
she
so
was,
funny.
I think also it was her embarrassment that she was doing that. She's definitely got like the performer element to her, which is you're either going to be hiding under a table or you're going to be standing on top of the table and you're going to be making
doing a
everyone
dance
look
routine.
at you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or like very much what I've got.
Or you, it's like sort of on like in our childhood home when you were like 18 or 17 or something like that, like leaning on the staircase singing Maybe This Time from Cabaret.
Yeah.
Well, the whole family watched.
Yeah. Or just crying in the room on your own and never going to a party for like a year. Yeah. That just sounded really depressing. I was trying to think of something funny, but it just
It's not funny. There's no way to make that funny, is there, Jessie?
I did go to parties.
I know, of course you
I
did.
go to a couple of parties.
Exactly, and you used to take fun little photos on your little in your camera.
Yeah.
You know, your
Do you know
handheld
what
camera.
I really, really wish I still had is when I went to Manchester Uni and I dropped out after 6 weeks. And I only dropped out because I realised I couldn't write an essay. And because the level of alcohol consumption was just so far... Like, I could not keep up. But I did try to keep up for those 6 weeks. I drank so much. And there are this was just at the start of Facebook. I don't know, 2006, 2005. And I had so many photos on my first Facebook at uni, because everyone was starting to have a profile. And there's like photos of me being drunk on a mechanical bull, looking fucking incredible. You know, like I was so like I look like such a fun girl, which I'm not.
So you got to play that part.
I got to play that part for 6 weeks, but then because I became too cool an artist, you know, like I wanted to be like a serious artist, I thought, no, I'm going to delete that Facebook. So I've lost all those photos of me being a cool student.
I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make, actually, deleting photos on Facebook that you feel are unflattering or embarrassing. So many photos I've deleted over the years that I would desperately love to see now because they reflect an accurate version of you in the past.
And I don't have that version. I was a fun girl for 6 weeks and I don't have any evidence.
Yeah, I think actually part of the reason why I didn't go to university was partly the intimidation of the drinking culture that I just knew I wouldn't really have gelled with.
It's another level. I basically, I would get blackouts because to go from drinking a little bit at weekends, as you do normally in sixth form and stuff, to drink
every night of the week.
Sport,
yeah.
every night of the week.
And going clubbing every night of the week, I think. I mean, you know, you're always going to have regrets and what ifs and stuff like that. And sometimes I do now think, you know, oh, wow, like that could have potentially been really fun. It would have been a chance for me to make a big social group. But it just is not me. I just know I would have probably dropped out too.
Yeah, it was. I don't regret dropping out at all.
At least I don't have any student loans.
I'm still paying off my student loan.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I wrote Sunset for. Pay off the student loan. For that one term I was there.
My God.
I think I had to pay for the whole year.
That sucks.
Yeah, really bad. Anyway, that I think we've done a long time. Should we wrap up?
Yeah.
Oh, 53 minutes.
53 mins.
Wow.
This is the top I wore to the football yesterday, and
I
I've got to
saw.
say it is itching me.
No.
Because it's an old vintage football top, but it's actually soccer. It's a soccer top.
Soccer, yes. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Thank you for subscribing to our Patreon. And
I've just, as of the time that this podcast is out, I've put a fun cake video, another cake video on the Patreon. Me making Margaret's birthday cake, so.
And if you want to listen to Sunset book but not buy it, Bebe does the audio book for it, and it's amazing. So you can just find that on Audible.
Yeah. And I think that you can have a free trial.
You can have a free trial, so you can just be canny and not have to pay.
You could just listen to me for free.
Yeah.
Bye.
She's going crazy, watch her now.